I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out righteousness. I need to talk to you if you have been unjustly evicted out of your apartment, out of your house here in the New York City area over the past 20 years, that eviction has taken place. And specifically for those of you who your eviction led to homelessness, or your eviction led to suicide of some of your family members or friends, or your evictions led to drug addictions. The fact that you were evicted led to a series of other problems. I want to talk to you. If you were unjustly evicted here in the New York City area and by the New York City courts, by a New York City landlord, I want to talk to you. I want to review and I want to establish a class action lawsuit to review every eviction by every landlord that you have deemed to be an unjust eviction. I want to talk to you. I want to talk to every person who has been foreclosed and you believe that that foreclosure was unjust and it was an unjust foreclosure, and that you believe that you did not get justice, that you lost the equity of your house, and perhaps it was given to you through your mother, your father, or some other, and you lost it by a foreclosure proceeding by a predatory bank or institution that has foreclosed your property in the last 20 years in the New York City area. I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. And what I'd like to be able to do is that I want to call for lawyers and law students to come and join with me that we get redress for the poor people of New York City who have been traumatized by this whole economic bankster-gangster spirit called gentrification. I want to ask if you're a law school student, if you're a lawyer, if you are a retired lawyer, and that we would meet, because we're going to have a lot of cases of illegal eviction where people were just kicked out of their apartments by these vicious landlords and these criminal slumlords that they might be able to renovate and get 10 to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 times as much rent once they evicted people. We need justice here as far as the property and the sharing of the wealth of New York City. What is happening now? Only the wealthy are able to participate in the wealth. Only the wealthy are able to live in luxurious houses with nice floors and nice walls and comfortable entrances and beautiful windows and nice furnishings. Only the wealthy are able to do that. And the other thing is that these evictions that were unjust, that happened to you, these foreclosures, have driven rent in New York City so that even a person with a decent job making $100,000 a year can't afford to live in New York City. This is the wealthy landlords, the predatory banks have done a job on New York City, making it almost impossible for poor people. And that's the reason why they want to get rid of our church, because I got a big mouth, a loud voice, and I keep crying, and I'm still left here while all the other churches and pastors have run away, accused me of hatred, called me names, abandoned me, sold their hearts, sold their souls to the devil, and sold their church to the devil worshipers in many ways. And so I alone am left here. That's why they want to get rid of me, so they can make New York City, you can be making $150,000 a year and still can't live in New York City. We need to talk. I'm going to hold a meeting right here at the ATLAH Church on the 23rd of September at 7 p.m. I'm going to need lawyers to come, and law students to come. I'm going to need people of integrity. And I'm going to ask people to just come and volunteer, and we're going to examine what happened to you. And we're going to look at all the statutes and all the clauses. For instance, if your property is foreclosed, you have 2 years to redeem it. Were you told that? Were you given an opportunity to redeem your property? Did the landlords, did the predatory banks conspire against you so that you couldn't get a mortgage, but yet they gave the mortgage to somebody else just like that without asking any question? Those are the kinds of things that needs to be examined. It needs to be examined whether or not the courts. It needs to be examined whether your lawyer, if you had one, actually gave you the best representation when you were going through the eviction process or going through the foreclosure process. There are a myriad number of questions. But we need, listen, let me tell you something. New York they have priced out poor people in New York. And what they have done, they've taken the tax money that's paid by these wealthy people, the little that they pay, and they set up homeless shelters all over the city where you used to live in a 5-room, 2-bedroom apartment. Now people are living in shelters. And listen, one other thing, all these people with black faces, or at least they call themselves black, they're Hamites, that sit on the community board, that sit on the community organization. First of all, they don't understand economics. They don't understand wealth. They've never had a lot of money. So when they get offered $20,000 to make a decision, to put up a high rise or to vote yes, they think they got something with $20,000. Let me tell you something. These landlords, these developers, these banks that piss away $20,000 on a date at a restaurant in New York City and think nothing of it. We got to re-examine the process by which these community board people and people like David Dinkins and Al Sharpton have given their stamp of approval to these banks, to your landlords, to evict you and marching around before the cameras like they are for poor people. But they are not, because if they were fighting, Al Sharpton has never led a gentrification protest against the evictions, against the foreclosures. He's never led a protest against that because he's been paid not. We got to understand, my brother, we have to have a meeting. You got to spread the word. The 23rd of September, on the 23rd of September, I will be hosting our first meeting. And I'm reaching out to lawyers, retired attorneys who have just seen that they've had enough. They've seen the crookedness of the court system. They've seen the payoff of the judges and the politicians. They've seen that go on too long in America. And now poor people are living in homeless shelters, living from hand to mouth. And then his families have been destroyed because the place where they had a meeting place as a home was taken over by predatory landlords through criminal type of evictions of poor people. I want to be able to put an end to that. And so I'm asking you to go to our website at atlah.org. Go to our website at atlah.org, and you will discover that there's a place where you can register to be a part of the meeting. Now, you're going to have to register, and you can register as an attorney. You can register as one that was evicted. You can register as one that was foreclosed, or you can register as a very concerned citizen about the economic trauma that has been spread by the wealthy, spreading their tentacles over against the poor. It's going to be an exciting time. I'm going to need a lot of help. And so I ask you to spread the word. Want to be able to get that out. We'll talk more about that. That's the 23rd of September. Go to our website at atlah.org, and you will see the judicial review, the class action judicial review of foreclosures and evictions here in New York City over the past 20 years.